We are welcoming Andrea Vastus of the National Fire Protection Association to the show today. She's the Senior Director for Public Education at the NFPA because this is National Fire Prevention Week. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I thought this would be just a very timely chat, given now that we're in the colder months. So folks are indoors more, maybe starting to put their heating systems on, using the oven a lot more, and just home a lot more during this pandemic, certainly.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If we could maybe chat a little bit about what the NFPA is all about. Been here in Quincy for quite a long time, but you've been around a whole lot longer than that.
Absolutely. So we were actually created in 1896. 2021 is going to be our 125th anniversary. NFPA is a self-funded nonprofit that was created with the mission of eliminating loss of life and property due to fire, electrical, and related hazards.
And you are been in Quincy now, not since the beginning, but pretty soon afterwards, right?
Yes, yes. It's a lovely town. I love being in there. I don't live in Quincy, but I have to say I really enjoy being there.
Yeah, I've been over at Battery March Park in West Quincy for quite some time now. And really, you set the gold standard, do you not, at the NFPA for fire safety?
Yes, we do. When you walk into a building and you see things like the lighted exit signs and the fire alarms and smoke alarms and where electrical outlets are, that's all NFPA. That is, we assess the best of the best to put forth what are the standards for electrical, for heating, for chemical, for fire and life safety. And so when you see those things that are just part of your day, even how many fire drills a school has to have a year, that's all the NFPA. And so that's that really amazing side that is protecting people every day that they don't even know is happening behind the scenes. And then I'm fortunate enough to be on the public education side, me and my friend Sparky here, where we're all about the preventing of the hazards and the mitigating of the hazards to help reduce, an event from happening in the first place, or to just reduce the impact that an event could have on injury and death.
Have you been seeing any kind of special, challenges given that people are home so much more now because of the pandemic?
Yeah, we absolutely are. We are seeing more home cooking fires. So cooking fires are the number one cause of home fires and home fire injuries anyway. And we're actually seeing an increase in home fires because people are in more. More people are in together. They're kind of on top of each other. And so they aren't really paying attention as much. And the data hasn't caught up yet, but anecdotally, we're hearing from our fire departments, they are going on more cooking fire runs right now. So that's a piece of it. The other thing we are starting to see a little bit more is the charging of all your things, So now everybody's home and they're remote learning and they're charging their phones on their beds, which can lead to fires. And so there's a whole slew of things now that we have to put at top of our mind because we're there more and we're doing more. And those are the kinds of things we are actually starting to see more of now.
Right. And you're, obviously not able to be out in the schools, which I know you always are, where safety kind of first starts in the home, right, is with youngsters in the schools.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's been a challenge this year. I will tell you that our fire departments have been working. They can't go into the school normally like they would on a fire prevention week, but they're doing some other kinds of things. And they're really getting creative with TikTok and with YouTube. And they're doing things virtually. And then we actually had a toolkit for teachers that we flipped to a digital toolkit and put on our Sparky Schoolhouse website. So now teachers have a digital way to be able to teach fire safety to their kids, whether they're in class or remote.
So great, because I know that many times it's the kids who teach their parents about how to be safe at home with fire, right?
Absolutely. And it's great when we keep hearing those stories, and it's I wish we could capture them in all over the place. And so it's when our stakeholders send them to us. And so again, recently something happened in Michigan, where there had been a house fire and everybody had their plan to get out because not a few weeks earlier, the local fire and life safety educator had been there teaching about home fire escape planning. And the mom even said, we knew what to do because my kid came home with this and said, let's all practice it.
Wow.
And that's, the best thing that we can ever hear.
I'm sure that, just kind of, justifies all that you do there and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference and saving lives.
Right.
So we talk a little bit about, this is Fire Prevention Week. Is this always the time of year that this is held?
Yes, it is. So this is the 98th Fire Prevention Week, started in 1922. It's the oldest public health observance in the United States, and it's always held during the week where October 9th falls in commemoration of the Great Chicago Fire. And so that is why October is the week, and basically people turn it into Fire Prevention Month. That's, here it is. So we're kind of excited because, NFPA there's a lot of these anniversaries coming up, right? NFPA is turning 125 next year. Sparky's turning 70 next year.
Oh, he looks great.
He is. I know. I need to know who does his work, right? And then in 2022, it'll be our 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. And, whether you live in an area, we're in New England, right? We're not in a wildfire area. We're not out in the West, but we still have, recently we actually had such a dry day that we were having a fire hazard, right? An outdoor fire warning. So whether you are celebrating Fire Prevention Week by helping your people do the mitigation work on their home to resist ignition from wildfires, whether you are practicing your home escape plan, that's the kind of thing that we want to do is raise awareness. It's not top of mind for people, right? Every day I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm going to work. I'm not thinking about those things. And that's when something happens and then we don't know what to do. So Fire Prevention Week is our week where we try to really put out in the public, here are the things that, if you practice them, if you make them habits, then you won't be caught off guard when something happens. And we picked cooking this year. And it was just sort of each year we pick something that's universal, right? And no matter who you are, where you are, what you eat, and how you cook, someone's cooking something somewhere, somehow. So that's why this year we picked that theme, pre-pandemic, and it seemed to, work really well for us. And thanks for showing this. This is our fire safety cooking checklist.
And there's great tips here. There really are for folks. And this is accessible through the Special Fire Prevention Week website, right?
Yes, it is, firepreventionweek.org. And we have a whole set of tools for educators and for residents, things like this. This is the perfect kind of thing to print out, go over with your family. If you have a babysitter coming into your house and they're doing some cooking for you, this is the kind of thing you want to print out and say, look, let's go over the rules of cooking in our family's home while you're caring for our children. These are the kinds of things. And then of course it's a cooking checklist, but we always want to make sure that you have a home fire escape plan. We always want to make sure that you have working smoke alarms. And because, those are like the three legs of the stool in terms of the main causes of injury and death from fire.
Yeah, and this is really the kind of thing that the family can really all do together, right? Pick a day, pick a time when you'll sit down and actually focus on this and make it a priority.
Yeah, and it's a great way to say, we have a new video, an I Spy video that we created this year for Fire Prevention Week, and it's I Spy the hazards in the kitchen, right? What are the things that are there? What are the risks? And right, and how simple it is to remove the risk. The dish towel that's right next to the burner is a very easy fix.
Right. Just, it doesn't take an engineer to come in and assess your.
Right.
You can do these things yourself. You mentioned smoke detectors. I know that typically when we change the clocks during the year, spring and fall, that's when you're recommended to change the batteries too, right?
So yeah, and I think the interesting piece of this is newer smoke alarms have 5 and 10 year batteries in them. So you don't need to change the batteries, right? So that, and that's part of the thing of the technology and keeping up with the messaging, right? It was always change your clocks, change your batteries. Well, if you have a 5 or 10 year battery, you don't need to change your battery, but you do need to test your smoke alarm monthly.
Yep.
And so we like to say smoke alarm Saturday. Pick the first Saturday of the month and make it your smoke alarm Saturday. Walk through, test each smoke alarm, make sure they're working. If something isn't working, the other piece of smoke alarms is that they last 10 years no matter what. So once they're over 10 years old, it's time for a new round of smoke alarms. We think about the way car seats, they have a 6 year, I believe. We say after a certain number of years, even if it looks like it's in good shape, you've got to get rid of it. Same thing with smoke alarms.
Yeah, and there are actually dates on them. The stamped right on the smoke alarms. You can see when you
Yes.
purchased it, and I'm sure a lot of folks would be amazed. Oh, I thought that was only a couple of years old. It's 10 years ago.
I know. Well, that's it. And the time flies, right? And so we don't really think about those kinds of things. I've been in my house 5 years now, and I just realized, oh, it's been 5 years. Uh, you know, time to, because we had put them in when we first came in. And now I realized, okay, I've got to pay attention to that 10-year mark. And, of course, our smoke alarm Saturdays.
Right. Yeah. So, it's like you said, it's just out of sight, out of mind, not something that's at forefront of your mind, especially given what's going on this year with so many other challenges that folks are dealing with. Does the NFPA, Andrea, recommend fire extinguishers in people's homes?
So fire extinguishers are an interesting one for a home because one of the things that happens is, first of all, children should never fire extinguisher. That fire happens, get out, call 911, stay out, right? That is always the best course of action, right? Is let the professionals fight the fire. Fire extinguishers can be difficult to use. By the time you've fished it out, figured out how to use it, the fire is often too big now for the fire extinguisher. So we don't do a lot of focus on fire extinguishers for that reason. It's not that they aren't perfectly effective in many instances. I will say that the majority of the consumer fire extinguishers also are not appropriate for grease fires. And if you think about the types of fires you might be more likely to have on your stovetop, it would be a grease fire. So honestly, the best thing to do is when you are cooking, number one, anything that you are frying, broiling, braising on top of the stove, don't leave it. Right? Stay on top, stand by your pan, right? Stand by your pan, and keep a heavy lid or even baking sheet nearby, because turn off the gas and hang out. And this is actually one of our social media cards that we, have on too. And if you're there and you're seeing it flare up, you can do this. If you're not there, this is one of the top reasons for cooking fires. And if it looks just too big to deal with, get out, right? Get out, call 911, stay out. That is really the most important piece, is your safety first.
I think that's so important to keep stressing, is yes, get out and stay out. So many people we hear run back in for paperwork that they forgot, or their wallet, or their purse, or God forbid, their pets.
Yeah.
Could really end up being disastrous.
Yeah. And that's a really good point too, is we tell people to have a meeting place outside, because actually one of the worst case scenarios is everybody has exited a different way. Nobody knows that everybody is out, and somebody goes back in thinking that someone is still stuck inside, but they're really just on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
And I've heard too many stories from firefighters that is actually has been some of the causes of deaths and major injury because of that. And so, you have your escape plan, but you have to have that meeting place. You have to have that spot that everybody knows to go, counting all the heads, and now you don't have to worry about running in, and the firefighters can do their job fighting the fire. It's the same kind of thing we talk to teenagers and college students about situational awareness. I have a daughter in college, and I say, when you go out with your friends, have a meeting place if you get split up. You go out somewhere, and I know people aren't doing major venues right now, but when we're back going to major venues, have a place with, oh, no, Mom, we have our cell phones, blah, blah, blah. Can't rely on that all the time, right? Have that meeting place, make the plan in advance, and then everybody has what they need to do. Yeah. I appreciate you showing the other social media card we have, because the 3-foot zone, that's our 3-foot zone. And, again, one of the other major things that we think about is not just a cooking fire, but burns that happen from cooking. And whether a child is reaching up and pulling something down on top of them, or when you are holding hot liquids or hot food, keep the kids 3 feet away, because those burns, scald burns from hot liquids and foods, really are a major cause of burn, especially in children under the age of 5. Emergency room departments see it constantly, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure. And just by picking up a boiling pan of water, even the
right
is hot, so you can imagine liquid could be devastating for sure. So just another thought too about the meeting place, Andrea, and I'm sure you'll agree, is it helps first responders as well to make sure everybody's accounted for. Because if there's a question, they're going in.
Exactly. And that is absolutely true. I mean, this isn't just for your safety, it's for the firefighter safety. Why risk somebody going in to a home when, to try to go rescue someone when they could be busy putting out the fire, right? I mean, this is a time critical resource issue. Different things. Again, we talked about how technology has changed over the years. Well, fabrics and materials and furniture have changed over the years too. And today's furniture burns so much faster than those of 15, 20 years ago. And so now a fire that might start from a smolder on a couch or a curtain will actually reach flash point where just the room is engulfed in as little as 2 minutes.
Wow.
So when you might have had 5 to 7 minutes to escape your house, you have as little as 2 minutes to escape your home. Now, out. Just get out. Don't go searching for where it is. Get out, call 911, and everybody meet at the place, because now you're there. Obviously, pick a spot that's safe. You don't want to be in the line of the fire trucks are going to be coming and rushing up.
Right.
And so a mailbox is not the place to meet, quite frankly, because that's usually in the front of the house, off to the side of the house, have that meeting place. But that is really, I think, the other piece that has changed in our fire prevention education and fire safety education is just the differences. You don't have as much time now.
Mm-hmm. Something we haven't talked about, but is a real danger, is the silent killer of carbon monoxide.
Correct. So carbon monoxide emanates from a variety of sources, and it's usually attributed to some faulty heating equipment. It can also be because people are using portable generators inside. People use their portable generator inside a garage. Now the carbon monoxide is going into the house. And I think the difference with carbon monoxide is it's called the silent killer because it is odorless, it is colorless, you just don't know what's happening. And the effect it has on you is to basically put you to sleep. So you aren't even really aware that you are being taken over by carbon monoxide. And so that is why you need at least one carbon monoxide on every level of your home. And, there are so many units out there, and they just plug right into the outlet with a battery backup. Smoke alarms need to be high up because smoke rises. Carbon monoxide is actually the same weight throughout the air. So it doesn't really matter where you put it. Just put it away from a window, because you don't want the window to disturb the ability for it to detect the carbon monoxide. And, that is actually, again, another thing that people need to pay very close attention to. That also includes things like gas fireplaces, which aren't properly maintained, because gas fireplaces have actually been the cause of carbon monoxide poisonings as well.
I know a lot of detectors now are kind of a combination, both smoke and carbon monoxide, so it makes it easier.
Yeah, if you can do it, I think that's the thing, is when it's time for you to upgrade, go for it. Yeah, I have a friend who, when I'll talk about making a purchase, do I want to spend the money? She'll say, "Oh, Andrea, you spent a lot more and a lot less," right? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So this is not the thing to skimp on, but, know that even a basic smoke alarm and a basic carbon monoxide is going to work for you. But if you can do it, that's the thing to put your money in, your safety. Again, these are 10-year implements too. So, if you think about, I'm going to spend $50 on it, well, that's $10 a year.
And you do spend more than that on silly things for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Curious, Andrea, are there, going forward, for sprinkler systems, do you think there'll be new codes for residential sprinkler systems?
So that's an interesting one as well. Home fire sprinklers have so many myths associated with them. And so much of it is because, you'll see a TV show and the sprinkler goes off and everything gets trashed and ruined. And you hear people say things like, well, I don't want the water damage. That's going to be way worse than a fire. And the home fire sprinkler systems that NFPA promotes, along with our Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition. So that's actually the place where we have some really wonderful assets for residents. Our systems that are designed to not, go off throughout the entire house if there's a fire over here, right? So it's not like your whole house is going to get flooded because of a fire in the kitchen. But if you think about the most common places where fires happen, the ability to extinguish it quickly is huge. So, there are many ways to do this. So there's, putting it into code, right? Which is, adopting a law that says all new build will have X, Y, Z. There's also putting it into what we would call the social norm, right? Which is really just, educating residents and builders and housing authorities and homeowners associations about what they really do and what they don't do, and bringing them along. So there have been efforts in various states where if they adopt home fire sprinklers, they can actually put in more homes in an area because you've added that layer of protection. So these are the kinds of things that our Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition works on. And it really varies state by state. There's people who are like, nope, we don't want it. We don't want to spend the expense on it. And I think busting a lot of the myths of what they really do and don't do to your home is a key piece of it.
Yeah, curious too if it might be beneficial with your homeowner's insurance policy, to have that kind of protection too.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one to see. What does your insurance company cover? An analogous to that is in the wildfire space. There are insurers now who, if you have done certain things to your home to make it less ignitable in the case of a wildfire, you're actually getting discounts on your insurance. And so, right? Money's a great incentive, obviously. Safety is an incentive too, but sometimes, what do they say? We vote with our pockets. We think with our pockets, and, everybody has a role to play. And that's part of we call it the fire and life safety ecosystem, right? It's not just, someone saying, okay, Sparky says do this, and now everybody's going to go do that, right? We know that the education is a big piece of it, but it also has to do with the environment, right? What are the laws that are there in place to protect you? I walk into a building, I expect my public policy people and my builders to have done the right work and done it to code, and that they've passed laws to promote that. And, a skilled workforce. I think, the other piece is, hiring licensed professionals to do the work. And especially when we're talking about things like electrical, hire the licensed electrician to do it. This is, again, electrical is another major cause of home fires and home fire injuries and electrical burn injuries. Have the right people doing the work. And that's where everybody then plays the part in the ecosystem.
Right. Yeah. Get the proper permits and have it properly inspected. Just do it the right way.
Right.
Yeah. Again, we should recap, Andrea, for folks. We're Fire Prevention Week, and how can they best learn more about that?
So go to firepreventionweek.org. That's your best bet, fastest way to get to all of our assets for Fire Prevention Week, but also to our other assets. And so that'll link back to our public education pages and to NFPA. So if you're interested in the world of NFPA, codes, standards, electrical, chemical, all that stuff, nfpa.org, nfpa.org. When you're looking at what do I need to do to keep my family safe, firepreventionweek.org, fpw.org. We've made it easy for you. And, again, lots of things like tip sheets, activities. I'll say my final plug for Sparky is sparky.org has games, apps, all sorts of videos. And so I know kids are on their computers a lot right now, but these are games and apps that are also engaged in fire safety. They teach lessons along the way in a fun and engaging way. And so that's, we really try to make sure we have something for everyone across the board. And we even have as part of fpw.org, our checklist for caregivers of older adults. We tend to focus on the kids for Fire Prevention Week, but older adults are actually at high risk also for fires and falls.
Yeah, that's a great.
And our fire departments are responding to fires and falls, lift assists for older adults. And so again, there are so many ways to help educate and, simple things you can do in your home to prevent that.
Yeah, particularly if someone maybe living, alone and is not able to do those things on their own, a good way to help them.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else we should touch on, do you think, today?
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I think just the key is, it's there. I know we don't see these things frequently, so it's really easy to think that they don't happen and that they're not going to happen. But go ahead, smoke alarm Saturdays, test your smoke alarms, and, have your meeting place. Put it out there, but check out the website and check out sparky.org and fpw.org. You'll really be glad you did. You'll have some fun and learn something along the way.
All right. Well, so great to talk to you. Appreciate your time. And we look forward to a happy and safe season.
That's right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.